So when you get married, did you call ancestors to bless your
marriage?
What was happening?
Who was
when
conducting?
They receive lobola, all those kind of things. When the altar is calling, there's no way that you can resist it with your own strength. You need the supernatural power, the power of the Almighty God to break.
I was so used to it that in a way when we are sitting with people, I would see him change in the face. Then I would like, yo, I wonder what is it? What's wrong? I would like and sometimes go to him, are you okay? All right.
Another thing that makes people to, like you say, like I'm enduring, is that a girl thing. When they put in your body, they said, when you'll die here.
And you'll enjoy anything that we're going to do to you.
This thing, it's very dangerous.
I believe that, Apostle, each and every family that practice these things of ritual, they are given a certain animal that will control the family.
Okay.
That wants a certain blood.
Yes.
Greetings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ of Nazareth. This is your Minister Official Bokose Sono. What a beautiful day we're having today, afternoon, weather very good, and I am with Apostle TC Sono. Boo, 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 boo. Good afternoon, Apostle.
Afternoon, because
and how are you?
I'm blessed. And how are you?
I'm good. Welcome back, guys, to our YouTube channel, See Beyond Reality. On our last episode, we've been talking about marriages and what's happening with marriages, how the devil destroys marriages, you know, all those elements that you guys have been asking us to go deeper. So today we have our beautiful sister, Usis Unompumelelo Umpumi, but I call her Mpunti. So she's here as to come and, you know, just to talk about her journey of marriage and what she went through. And we are hopefully believe that her testimony is going to even change more of your life. Good afternoon, Sister Mpumi.
Afternoon, Sister Ukasi.
And I'm good, and you, my darling?
Good.
You look so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you too.
And thank you so much for accepting the invitation. I know it's not always easy, you know, to come sit behind the camera and testifying and all those things, all the emotional flashbacks and all that. But we bless God for what He did to you, and we believe that as you are here, your testimony won't only help us as we're sitting here with Apostle, but as well going to the world and helping that viewer that will say, I'm going through what you are going through. So take us through, who is Sis Nompumelelo? Where was she born and raised? And take us to your journey.
Yeah, afternoon, Apostle. Afternoon. Sure, it's so exciting to be here, people, you know.
Amen.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, Pumi, just a bubbly, free-spirited person. Yeah, I grew up in Soweto. Yeah, coming from a, you know, a Smolanyana family. Yeah, just the two of us, me and my brother. Yeah, and my parents. Yeah, that's how we grew up. Yeah.
Okay. And what was happening in your journey where you went to school, your parents, what kind of a parents were they? Were they rooted in Christ? Were they practicing whatever and stuff like that?
Yeah, no. You know, I grew up in Soweto. And then, yeah, my parents, my mother, I must say, my mother has always loved God. But Minankule, like in Ekaya Lamadlos, where they worship ancestors, like, you know what, it was all about Ubungoma, Budlozi, the kites, it was about that. Though I've never seen my mother do those things, I've never seen her going, kneeling down and do that, but my father, the side of my father, there were people like Ngati, people who are called. They were called, most of them, because this thing, it went down generationally. So yeah, nkule endaweni yabandlozi, la sikhonza khona amadlozi, where we know ukuthi even if uphiwa igama lakho kumele uphiwe ubabakho, why, you understand that? kanjani from uyabikwa from emsamo uyabikwa everything movela uyini you know all those kind of things so ngikhule vele and baba bekuyisangoma not isangoma inyanga inyanga baba.
So there's a difference between
sangoma
and inyanga.
Yes ma cause according to the way mina ngikhule ngakhona because baba bengimbona kumuntu ophezulu. And then my uncle, Baba Mncane wam beka isangoma because my father was greater. That is why beka namatwasan. He ended up being namatwasan.
Okay, so if you have a matwasan, you are a inyanga.
Okay. Yeah, that's how ngibona kanjalo ukuthi because I think nabo ababamncane wami ngathi beba submitter ngaphansi kwakhe noma ngabe bebanjani but ubaba was always greater and then in the long run you see ukuthi okay manje the environment ubaba kunabantu abazayo kakhulu and then uhlala nabantu abakhulu you understand.
So kune difference between someone that olaphayo and someone that obulayo.
Yeah, but he did both, my father. Babam, he did both. That hence he had this huge gift. The gift. Babam a certain. He had a certain gift. That begaziwa ngayo. Okay, le. Yeah, we are pull but le gift le begu yo. Yeah, le begaziwa ngayo. Okay, la. But again, namatwasana nawe. We ended up with sakula but musa tutu so kungena abantu bakhona abantu abamenzela izinto bewiwa mathwasana besikhula ngaphansi kwawo.
Okay, so just fast forwarding the story, and I'm glad that you said at least there was a bit of a light from your mother's side because your mother, Apostle, was not going to Inyanga and all those things. So I think to them on their side they were a bit safer because at least there was someone that was knowing Christ at that time. So just to fast forward the story, because you were once married and we're so much interested in that journey. Please take us through to that journey. What happened? You went to school, everything was fine, and now you got married. How was your marriage life? What happened? When did you? Yes.
My God, I had such. Now that I'm thinking about it, ngibona ngathi even isikhathi sincane sokuba iteenager lephithizelayo, you know, because ngishade ngimncane.
Okay.
Ngishade ngimncane. I think I was 20 around about 21, 22, somewhere there. I got married at a very young age, yeah. But then, and it was so quick because ngikule under ubaba misandla sakhe besicinile. Bekumuntu kade beka strict. So my father did not allow indaba zokuthi awulale ekhaya, those type of things, you know, especially for me. He wouldn't allow that. By 5 o'clock kumele ube sekhaya, you know, even if you were doing things la ubozenza khona nabangani, but you just knew ukuthi okay esikolweni in even noma mesengiceda imatric ngithola amatohonyana yabona buma factory. I just knew that my dad doesn't want me to go there. So that's why it took long for me to get married. So even my husband knew that I'm not that type of a girl. You understand? Because my dad taught me something that you understand? So that was my thing. Oh, okay. Because my dad what
is that?
Like to desire.
Desire. Okay. Yes, he must desire you, even if normal you have a boyfriend or somewhere, but you spend this sitting naye, ungabi lapho. But I don't understand it that much. But well, because and then I think I did it only for like 8 months. No, my late husband, and then after, then yeah, yeah. Can I say the years? Yes. I think 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. More than 10 years because kubena isikhathi yazimuqeda ukulotola yalindwanyana. Yeah. So ngihlalile emshadweni though at first.
So when you get married, did you call ancestors to bless your
your marriage.
What was happening?
Who was
when
conducting?
They received lobola, all those kind of things.
Yes, most definitely. Because by that time, Ming Shata, my dad, Begashonil, he was no longer there. So now, but that what was funny by that time is that my mom, cause I remember she took my gown, my wedding gown, and then she ufuna ukuthi ngiyiphahlela. I understand ngiyikhulumela because now I have to now tell my dad ukuthi I'm going and my ancestors ukuthi I'm going now. Uyabona ngiyaku another family. Yes, lezo zinto lezo ziyenziwa kwaba nento zabo mahlabiso zenziwe accordingly ngesintu. Angithi bayibiza isintu lento yama ancestors. So kuyenziwe everything kwahlanganiswa kwavunywa abakhwenyana zonke lezi zinto lezo ziyenziwe ngathathwa ngayiswa, and then after some time ngathathwa ke ngayiswa to my family, other family enyakuyo. And then when I got there la bathi bangiyophiwa khona igama, ngifika lapho kula ngihlatshelwa khona imvu yami, specifically yama ingadliwa umuntu.
It must be only eaten by you.
Yes, leyo bekuyam. It was my naming ceremony.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when that family manje ngithi angimelanga ngingazi ngokuthi unompumelelo no. Now I'm going to be given another name, Mamkhethwa.
Mamkhethwa.
Yeah, bangiphica. And then arriving there, I went there ngikhashwa bomalumekazi bami, and then mengifika lapho gcotshiswa ngenyongo.
Okay.
Yeah. So apparently this thing like me, because ubaba mo beyinyanga and I knew ukuthi inyongo yenzani. Ngathi ya binder. Yabona. That's why you find ukuthi kuba ne difficult yokuthi uhlukane nomuntu kanti iyo lento leyo. Uyabona. So ngagcotshisiwe inyongo lapho. Yabo kwenza into eziningi ngathathwa ngayiswa kulo mgodi la kuhlatshelwe khona ke. Ngiyakhuluma namadlozi walapho ke manje ngiyazisiwe ukuthi okay nangumuntu ufikile uyeke lo la.
Okay.
And then
Them got in like inside the pit or what?
yes, there's a pit. Angithi mekuhlatshiwa apostle kuba ne pit.
And they dig.
They dig. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and then nakhona khona lapho they went and kuyiwa lapho, and then kuyakhulunyiwa, and then kulayitwa izinto, and then kuwazisiwa amadlozi ukuthi this is the reason labe bahlabele khona ukuthi this is the reason she's here and uzoba umntana wamo wabona. So yeah, this is now my new family, this is her new name, and then from there rising there you rise with your name, with a new name.
Like you sleep inside that thing.
No, you don't sleep, you kneel.
Or you kneel inside the hole.
Yes, you are kneeling
Inside that hole.
Inside the hole that they have
with your mother-in-law,
where they have slaughtered the
where they have slaughtered the sheep.
On top of the blood.
There's a blood there, where there's a blood and everything.
You kneel there.
Yes, you are all there where that thing took place. You're
With your mother-in-law.
with my mother-in-law.
First time I hear this.
And you must know that your mother is not there.
Oh, your mother was not there.
Oh, it's not supposed to be there. Your mother is supposed to be there when ulapha.
because they are introducing you as part of their family.
But did you tell your mom after this?
She hated, my mom, she hated the fact yenyongo. I remember she said to me one day, because I know, because inyongo, ingati in a covenant. Inyongo, ukotisiwa. Because you're not supposed to even bath after that.
It's gallbladder.
It is that thing bakqobisa ngenyongo yakhona. So yeah, ngangeniswa lapho, and then after that those times it was okay. Like for a year, kwaba right nje emshadweni.
So okay, tell me, I want to know more in this hole that you are in with your mother-in-law. Who's speaking when you are kneeling there?
She's speaking.
Your mother-in-law?
Yes.
She's introducing you.
It was her and the older brother. You remember they are the ones who have the access to bangakhuluma namadlozi wala.
Okay. So they give you a name and they introduce the name to the ancestors of that family. Yes. Okay, you are there inside that hole.
Yes, and my my mother-in-law is the one who's supposed to give me the name. Angithi she knows me. She knows who I am, how I am. So your name is supposed to go to with according to the way when ungakhona uyiphatha ngakhona.
Okay.
Yes, kunobanye abantu bomasithaba.
Okay.
Because they know ukuthi okay, umabatu. Okay. So from there, my brother-in-law said, okay, give her wena mama, and then she said, enwa ki mamukhetwa on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Chosen one.
And then after that,
it became okay.
is this like serious like this? That you nail in on top of the blood,
On top of the
chicken
blood.
or what?
Sheep blood.
Because she said before they can even kneel down, they had to slaughter that a sheep, and then they speak before she can come into the hall to say, we are coming here to let you know that we are having this person that we want to introduce and stuff. And then after she was called to the hall, then she kneeled down together with the mother-in-law.
You know what? Because I think, yes, I'm coming to you, Mpumi, but this is so like, you see what was happening there. There was a door that was been opened.
Yes.
By mother-in-law to the marriage. We don't know what happened, but we'll hear from her.
Yeah,
What
I
was
think
happening.
Apostle, the first door, because now she was being introduced. Remember that her mother had to be in a position where she need to sacrifice to make the family happy, because before she can even went to her husband's house, they took her dress to the father's grave.
Oh, that was the first door.
The first door that they introduced her to. You understand?
Okay.
Yes. Okay, you can continue.
In the realm of the spirit, it's something very...
Very dangerous.
And it's very private, I must say. It's very private.
Okay, no one must know.
Yeah, no one must know. And then you kunalento abayibiza ukuthi impelesi. It's somebody that you choose from your family, that you must go with you.
Okay.
Yeah, because after you bakuthengela nempahla ezintsha. Yeah, you'll be wearing your nice shirt.
So where's your fiancé or your husband?
Not there. He's not.
He's not allowed to be around.
No, he's not allowed to be around, but he is around. Yeah, he is around, but he's not allowed to.
be in that.
Yeah, because after the whole thing, so good, because that meat I live abantu.
It must be eaten only by you, because it
The whole
was
shit-
It's mine. Because I took it, I went back with it. I was in Free State. Ngambe nayo.
With what? With a vehicle or what?
No, yes, with the vehicle. We traveled back, coming back to Joburg. With
because
It
it
was
was
alive.
now.
No, it was nicely cut, and then Umamezala, she knows what she takes. But and then when Ohamba know the whole thing.
Okay.
But the family that is there, they will eat chicken.
Okay.
Yeah, when it's yours.
You take your own.
Yeah, and then you are there, and then everything that you'll be using before, it's new clothes. They buy clothes, new shweshwe, new Vaseline. They give you a certain thing. Berekisa Vaseline ena. Yeah.
Who gave you the Vaseline?
My mother-in-law. My mother-in-law. They gave me everything new. Okay, take this thing. We say, I don't know why, but they gave me, okay, give Vaselina, berekisa ena, and then na tighty or whatever, the underwear, take it new.
And you are sure that it's new? Are you sure? You don't.
Yeah, because you know what? When she's speaking about Vaselina, Apostle, I'll go back where I'm very sorry to hijack you. When on my wedding day, when we had to go and change, and this thing broke my mother-in-law because she was never wanting to be part of those things. When I reached where I was wearing my shweshwe, the second shweshwe that they have bought for me with that blanket of Sesotho. This Rahad came in and she was like, here's the Vaseline, we must touch her hair.
Yes.
And then I said, no.
You don't touch your body.
Yes, you don't touch your body. They touch you and they make you wear those things. I said, no, I don't. What is the Vaseline for? I don't. But no, this thing, it must happen because we do that. I don't do such things. So I'm just attesting to what you are saying to say, Vele, the Vaseline thing, I know about.
Your mother-in-law cannot tasang.
Even me, your mother, I didn't experience.
It's because
that.
I didn't even allow that to happen. But now that she's speaking about, I'm thinking, meaning it's a culture of how Sotho people are doing. Okay. When someone has to come, because there are certain clothes that they buy for you. Bona. They buy for you like your shishweshe dress, your blanket, the duku, everything. And you don't dress yourself. They have to dress you standing.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, even ukuzigcobisa. Yozigcobisa. Bakugcobisa wena. First is the mother-in-law ukugcobisa ngale anto le yona lenyong. She's the one.
With the girl.
And when she
with the girl.
That same girl, she's talking to it.
And saying what?
Awindawo wena wala.
Oh, you are not going anywhere.
You remain here. You remain here.
When I warona, the tasa everywhere. She's the one. Everywhere, she's the one. She's the one who does that, and then the other one brings the Vaseline inside the plastic. When you'll see that the cloth is coming from Edgar's. Everything. But the Vaseline puma la ba. Edgar's, yeah. Then Vaselina about Tasa. You're not even supposed to fix yourself. They are the ones who fix. No, let it stay like this. Let it be like this. Let it be.
And there's a secret behind that.
There's a secret behind
There's a secret behind that.
Yeah.
Because by that time you are not allowed to touch yourself.
Yes.
You are not allowed to
do anything.
Yourself.
Yes.
Everyone must, like, whoever is there must do the clothing pattern. What does that mean in the spirit?
Yes. It's so dangerous.
Very dangerous.
It's very, very dangerous.
And
Apostle.
because we lack knowledge, we allow
everything.
See, this is what we're talking about in our episode of divorce.
Yes.
It's very
that
deep.
if you don't stand and say, this is not going to be done to me,
they will do it.
They will do it.
And you will suffer the consequences
of what you have allowed in the first place.
Yeah, it was really.
Okay, let's fast forward from there. After there, you come back to Johannesburg.
Yes. Everything is like perfectly normal.
Now you are married to your husband.
Now we are married.
Okay.
You know, Apostle, what is so coming to the issue of marriages, like as we're talking, what is so weird about us women? It's like sometimes you go into the marriage. Usachola na yomuntu. You know this person. Well, my husband was very abusive.
Okay.
Very, very abusive.
Okay.
And this Apostle, I saw while we were still dating.
Okay.
I saw this.
But you ignored.
Yeah, but I ignore. You know, my husband, man, Uma highway. Yeah.
The time you were dating.
That time we were dating. That time no nobody was paid or whatever. But going, I would be nice. He bought me nice clothes. Whatever the thing, and match with him. We would go. When we get there, everything changes. I remember my first time, I was so shocked. Huh? Is this real? Is this kind like this? I was wearing a two-piece. I won't forget, a very nice two-piece, a linen, a white, pure white, with a red and gray Cavella shoe. That day, I saw a very different side of him. He just assumed that there's a guy I'm looking at, and this is my first time being around his families. But he just assumed, okay, there's somebody I'm seeing. I don't know these people. I don't even know the area. I don't know anyone there. But he just assumed. I don't know how. I don't know what kind of a level of low self-esteem he was in. But, he took me. Ati nkape inyotenga something drink. And then we went. And then he was looking and looking. He's been there. So he was looking for that sort of tavern, whatever it is. So when we got there, coming back, then he changed. What happened? You're sitting with these people. That time, he beated me black and blue. We didn't even went back lapaya. As long as we sibuyele lapho sengi that 2-piece elo sengi gas. Inside the car, he couldn't even step out. You know what? Every time, he always cry. Even that day, I saw him crying.
Because his influence is propelled by
this
the
demon.
same spirit that you invited when you are married.
Yes.
This is very serious.
Very serious.
Because this evil spirit comes with different characters in a person.
In a person.
Look, they don't want peace. Because you were like moving okay, like everything was fine. But now they enter him. And he started to change. And he started to beat you. This is abnormal.
Just abnormal.
It's so funny. You know, there's this song he used to sing. It's a Christian song. What's this? Oh my God, I'll remember the song. But he would sing this song. And he would pull the thing. And I would look at him like, what is happening here? What is happening? And he would step out of the car. And then he went to his cousin and he asked his cousin, please borrow my wife another clothes. And then the cousin would be like, why? What happened? He would be like, no, something happened. Kanti, they knew. I remember the cousin said to me, he called him by his name. Why? Even this one, he's doing this. I was like so torn. And then they called me. I went inside the toilet, the outside toilet, because they did not allow people to see me. And then I changed from those nice clothes. Then I just wore my tracksuit.
And then you get married.
And then we got married. Like he was, and then on that day, I was like, Clara, in my life, I don't want anyone who would raise his hands on me, because I knew, because my father was abusive.
Okay.
My dad was very abusive. So I was like, I would never ever marry umuntu ofana no babam, especially coming to abuse. I don't want that. After this, I'm done with this guy.
And by that time, you don't even know God. You are still confused. You don't.
And you know, I was enjoying it because babam was so strict. I was enjoying this thing. Oh, I'm going there because I never used to have that kind of a thing. So I enjoy it. Oh, you know, because no man suga guye. When he would see me, I would like, oh, there's this guy. You know, right. And when he apologized, I forgave him. Then we went back together.
Okay.
And then it just kept on going. That's why I'm saying that. I was saying that in marriage, singena sometimes says, if another mental to good, I may Mrs. Shati shincha.
Yeah, ignorant.
Yeah, maybe make a second. Now we are married. And you are so sure, even doing those culture things, you are like, I'm doing it for him. Maybe
you don't even know what you're doing, but you are doing because someone is telling you to do it.
Yes. And he was like, I want you to go all these things, rituals, all that. And
also he was encouraging
yes
to do that.
Yeah, that's everyone, because each and every Makoti had their names, but Mina did not have veil.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why even myself, it was something nice. I loved it. Oh my God, it's nice. It's like you are being finally welcomed. Well, they know you, they know good to you, but not officially like in this way.
Okay. Yeah. So you continue with him. Now you are in marriage. Yes. How was the life in marriage?
Yeah, the life was okay for the first time. After now being officially married, it was okay for like 6 months. I think almost a year, because just almost a year, he went back to being abusive. Yes, he went back, you know, for things that you don't know how to explain how. And then what happened, by just telling somebody, hi, did you start go microwave? Somebody arrives after 11, 12. You also have a reaction. You also not feel okay. Why would you arrive this time? And like you'll get like, did you talk to go microwave? And then that would just make all hell break loose. But why would you say that? Why would you tell me go microwave? Yeah? Can't you stand up as my no, Maraki Rubes? Why go? Why would you, by that you would just lift me out of where I'm sitting. Out of where I'm sitting, and it would be just it. It will be just a fight over fight, and you'll make sure something yamming is it's either a blue eye or it's either my back, something out of that. He would hit me with anything. I told you. No mangabi phone. I remember those Sony Ericsson. He wants it into 3 pieces. The Sony Ericsson pants from a distance, and I couldn't vase, but it was so unexpected. But young
So when so did you report him maybe to his parents
or your mother?
No, at first I didn't. My mother was very afraid. My mom was very, very afraid because I did not want my family to hate him.
Okay.
I did not want that. So I remember I did not at first. I said, man, what is it that I must do? Because I remember Antoine said to me, indaba zasemzini wakho awuzithathe uzitshela umamakho, because angeke ukusaba right, it will no longer, even if noma senijabulile, it will no longer be the same. So I was asking myself, which must I, because this thing is going on, who must I tell? Must I tell my aunt, or what is it that I must do? So with him, Bernard was a good feel. Some of the things he would do it even in front of family members.
Okay.
Yes, he would do it. So they would see. I remember we went to my uncle's family, and then he wanted to watch soccer. We would just have a nice bride, people would be very happy. Oh, you are there, and then out of the blue, he would just be off. He would just change, and you don't know why. He would just, like, I don't know, you'd just be off. By seeing me being, because I'm somebody who talks, being free, and then by seeing me tabula in that way, he'll be just off, and he'll just want something that will impossible. Like that time, he said, "I want to watch soccer," and that place is corner. They don't have it DSTV. That area, and he could see with last corner. We just there to see people and like by young jengati, but. What is it that I must do? What is it? And then I'll say, no, man, I'll just, okay, well, let me see this. Okay, let me find a boy. Maybe I'll take him somewhere and watch. This would just anger him. Why would you call somebody? I don't funela in the maybe matchwala in the tavern. Lagune DSTV. Mina nyohlala panyewan mbukeli TV. Okay, fine. But now, why when ufuna ukuhamba sihleli la? As a family, can speak when I saw boom out of the way. It won't even waste. By him, he will go there with the guy. Ne? He will go. And then when he comes back, he will tell them, and then when I'm going back inside the house, so we are saying pink and blue. There and there. I was so used to it that in a way, when we are sitting with people, I would see him change in the face. Then I would like, I wonder what is it? What's wrong? I would and sometimes go to him, are you okay? All right. Like, I was shooting an ex. No, because I see now this face is not the one, man. I'm seeing this face. Good now. It change chill. As I say, then I'll say, okay, I'll try to fix myself. Okay, let me try not to laugh too much and not be hyper too much.
Yeah, I as you're speaking, there's this thing that is coming in my mind, that this gender-based violence, and especially when a family maybe they love this thing of the ritual or everything, as you were explaining. I think what you are dedicated to, I think these are animals, because what they want to see is blood.
And as well, from the start, when they take a dress and dedicating there, when it comes back, it came back with the spirit veil of
and even that hole, it represents a grave.
Yes,
you are inside the grave. Someone must die, someone must get there with
blood,
because they slaughter a sheep with blood. You were kneeling on top of the sheep. By that time, you don't understand what is happening. But as time goes on, you'll see that this symbolizes something that we don't know. That is why it is very, very important that we must come back to our Creator, Bazalwane. We can't gamble with our life. We can't. Because why are you kneeling on top of the blood?
And inside the hole.
Inside the hole, which represents a grave. A blood it means a blood must come out,
and the sheep that has
someone must die,
slaughtered, is there as well.
Which means in this family we are moving with a pattern of graves. We are moving with a pattern of someone must die prematurely.
Yes, true.
Do you understand? And look, they take. Oh my God. God will help us, and I believe that our children who are not yet married now, they will, their eyes will be open say, I will never do anything
ritual
that does not involve God, because now we are putting ourselves in a cage where we don't even know how to come out.
And as well, Apostle, it's also not teaching the children that are going to get married, also the parents. You can't just send your child to be gone, like to do rituals or ceremony without you being there as a parent. It will also teach parents not to be ignorant. Whatever ceremony your children or your child they want to do on the other family, you must be present as a parent.
I was not there when they want to.
They didn't. That one, they didn't. That one of Vaselina, I think it's, hence I'm saying that maybe it's part of this the Sotho
but
people.
Something it's not right in
it's not right, because remember, if then that person answered me to say it's a culture, but don't tell mama, because my mother-in-law wouldn't allow that. And after that, I told her, and she was very angry. In a time where they called that person to say, you don't do that. When I say take the clothes and give it to her, it's a clothes that they went and buy, and then they come and dress you as traditional. But now when I came out, yes, I told her that I didn't like 1, 2, 3, 4. She was like, what happened? And she was very angry.
I think it's part of culture, because I remember on my wedding day, my mother azanga phuma phithizele, but your mother's not supposed to do that. It's part of it ukuthi mama kamelanga be involved, because I remember the time mengphuma, there's this look I always remind her, kunale look ungangipha yona athi, really I don't know, that day I was sad. I was really, really sad.
Who's this?
My mother.
Okay.
It was she was very sad, because she can't come out that dress up nice. They say fanekahlali. I don't know why. That's why I'm saying some of these things, as you are saying, Guti, mele bize umzalo wakho bamtshela ukuthi okay, this is what you're supposed to. Some of the things I think is part of a culture. Yokuthi umama wakho anyeke aphithizele ngomshado wakho, anyeke ayenze lokhu nalokhu, abambe ezinye izinto. We understand.
So you continue enduring in that
abusive relationship.
I continued many years. Oh my God, it was, it was the Gyalungiswa. This other time, I remember this other time, I was like, yeah, this is like enough. And then I went and I told my mother-in-law, and I said, Mama, Mara, tell me, do you know what abusive she cried. Too much. Then she started to tell me, Kuti, he's like his father.
You see?
Yeah. He's like his father. Ma, I was so shocked. The episode, Yago Highway, my mother-in-law, when I was telling her that, Ati, give me, I didn't think he will do that to you because now, ntatwa ina wotla hore abantu tsore thewa koloi tsamaya. And then I was like, what? Like, are thewa koloi ya tsamaya. Everyone was like, okay, what like thewa koloi, but tima koloi ki theo. And when I opened, he would move the car.
Because someone must die.
Die in the family. So it's a pattern.
Someone must die.
Yeah.
There must be a way of someone
who must die.
So I was like, this thing. Then I started to tell about the story Sagu Highway. Good mama, whatever there was this time we were coming from mom somewhere in Sosobek, and then this other time, and then he started to just burst, and then the whole place, it was a party. The whole place, they even called the police for him alone. Hey, I don't know, Guti, what was happening with him. Like, I don't know. And then after that, he told the police that this is my wife and I paid lobola for her. You will not, I do anything that I want with her. Then he took me inside the car. Inside the car.
Where were the police?
The police, they were there. He took me right in front of, and the police, because it was late, I think it was after 10, 11. It was so late, and the police was like, there's nothing we can do. Vele, marriages, we don't get too involved. Because tomorrow, you guys are the ones that change. As a little Bulandi statement, a little change happen. Alright, that's what you do. So there's nothing we can do. I just knew that I'm not going to make it today. Inside the car, I don't know, that guy was a professional abuser. You know how small the car is, but he would beat me in a Yoguti, even myself. I don't know how I would, what is it that was holding me to defend myself? But he would beat me, and then we ran into I remember there's a circle there. We ran over the circle. He was on speed. And right, we entered the highway. I said, no, I can't anymore. Then he pulled up my thing, he pulled up my top, a taboo top. After salang bra, yes. Then he stopped the car. After stopping the car, I stepped out of the car. Then I ran over. I saw a garage, I saw a garage there. I ran. I took off my shoes with the bra inside. I ran. Then it's inside that highway. It's so impossible. It's like a toll gateway where the other car is going there, other one is going there. I ran, but I saw that garage. I said, Lord, help me. Garage. There was a Golf 4. I won't forget that Golf 4. There's a couple. I went inside the car of that people. They were pouring petrol. I went inside the car. Oh, guys, please help me. Sister, what's wrong? What's happening? Please help me. Kanti, he had made a U-turn coming back. He ran like he ran over with the car. Then he came. Yes, and then this lady told the boyfriend, the husband, they said, lock the car. Then they locked. Then he was there. He was like, Papa, hitting the car, man. Get out of the car, get out of the car. I was like, oh my God. The girl didn't know what to do. Said, oh, Bona, my jacket is in the boot. She said, what's wrong? Who is this one? And the guy, I was at this guy. What is wrong? What is it? This is my wife. Why are you doing this to my? Then the guy, this is my wife. Then the guy was like, "Aye."
And another thing that makes people to like you say, like I'm enduring, is that a girl thing? Because when they put in your body, they said when you'll die here
and you'll enjoy anything that we're going to do to you.
This thing it's
very dangerous.
Because it's something that binds you in the spirit and it manifests in the physical. Because in that family, you can see even the father in-law, he was like that.
Yes.
Which means the father-in-law, that it was the pattern that was happening. It's a generational case in a family.
And
which means even your Mama Zala was inside that hole. Even herself was there. She can't give you what she didn't have. She didn't get.
The only word she said to me was, "Khotlella." He will change. His father changed. He will change. His father changed.
So where do you end up?
It went on, it went on.
It's so sad.
I remember it was the 1st of September. The 1st of September, I won't forget. My cousin in Pretoria invited us, and then her husband was a counselor, something like that. So they had booked us nice place, top places, and then we were there, and then I went with him. Ma, everything changed that day. And I did not expect, because even that there was another episode where my aunt says, "You will never ever ever enter in my mother's home anymore. How can you ushaye umntwana gubo? It's a taboo. You must appease the gods if ungangishaya gabo mamam." Yeah, so that's what he did. So now, because he was in bad terms with my aunt, so we went to that my cousin's birthday party at the 1st of September. At that time, I thought I was dead. The way being shy on a corner, and the reason was because of Amanzala po that guest house, and it was cold, and he didn't watch soccer the way he wanted. I had to pull him. No, the party started. How can you be there? And you don't even know this place. How can you be there? Come. And now when we were there, he took all those bit things. As later, yeah, even when we arrived, you were not even too much on me. And then at that time, I arrive here, you're telling me, Guti, I must just enjoy this, fine. The water is okay, we'll see it. We don't have to call the people in. All those things. Then everything changed. And then on that day, I remember I went, and then everybody came out. And then when they came out, I was like, this was my first time. My first time, because the way being a con, you wouldn't see me. When I was beyond, I even thought my teeth were out. Like I was disfigured. The way being a con. So figure, yeah, it was another level. I don't know. I don't know how he managed, but always making sure he will make sure Guti koni impahla yami phuma emzimbeni wami. It's ngiyakhumuleka. So when my brother-in-law saw that, he was like, "What? What?" Because I screamed. And sometimes I wouldn't scream. Nyasaba. And I did not want to be born. So that day, I screamed. I screamed for my cousin. Because I saw because the tile, being shy, tile. I remember there was a hole. My head was forced to get that hole. And
it was not him.
It was not him.
It was not.
It's that there.
There.
Yeah. It was bad that day. Because I remember Bang Tata. Okay, after that midnight, it was at midnight. Everybody was in shock. The way being the way being a corn. They were so in shock. And my brother-in-law was like, he took out the gun. I think today, I'm finishing this guy. I know a little bit of his stories, Guti is like this. But today, how can you do it in front of us? Are you not afraid Guti, her family is here?
So what is he doing by that time when people are coming?
He was apologizing. He was crying. He would cry. He had a certain, appearance after that. he would be like, you know,
to show that it was not him.
Yeah.
he would like change. He would change. Even, you know, especially when I would cry, he would change.
So, and then
after, I remember they took me to the doctor in the morning, and I went. The doctor said to me, I'm not even going to touch you. This is a J88. I'm going to give you a form, a J88. I'm not. White guy. He said, no. And I'm not going to touch you before until you go to the police. Then you make a statement, and then you come back to me. And I was forcing him now, because now he has apologized. So I was forcing him, no. And then my cousin also was like, my cousin couldn't even talk to me. He was like, hey. She was like crying, like, I don't know, doctor, just talk to her. Like, we are so tired of this guy. We don't know what to do anymore with her. She's sticking to this guy. Like, we don't know.
So is that girl?
It's the girl. And as well, the rituals, because I believe that, Apostle, each and every family that practice these things of ritual, they are given a certain animal that will control the family.
Okay.
That wants a certain blood.
Yes.
Hence, when we were talking about in the last episode to say, you will see someone changing and behaving like an animal. And when that demon suppressed went away, then you become normal, and you asking yourself, what is it that I have done? And to tell you the honest truth is simple. What you are saying, there is someone that is watching us right now to say, and crying as well, to say, I am going through that. We have our sisters, we have our brothers, we have people that were in a relationship like you, but they are no more today, and nothing was done about it. Because why? They were told, Wuti, you need to be patient. You must endure. How do you endure spirits? You can't endure spirits. That's why what you are saying, Apostle, is very important to say. After everything that has been done, let us go back to our Creator.
We have to.
And know Christ.
We have to.
Because even the person that was doing this to you, he found that animal or that thing being practiced.
At home.
At home.
It's a generational thing.
That's why it had gotten so worse. Because I now that I'm looking at it, it gotten so worse. That's why that thing after everything it gotten so worse. That's why it couldn't hold itself even in front of my families.
Okay.
Yeah, it was so worse.
So he was arrested?
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
What happened is that because we were in another province, it was another province there. So I went and I filled up the form as that doctor said, and I did everything. And you know what the doctor did? He took, with my cousin, they took photos of me. I don't know why. But they decided to take photos because I couldn't see myself, my body. I couldn't see. But
when you were resisting to go to police?
Yes, I was resisting. I was always, at that time, I would always think of him. Guti, no, he's sorry. I would always think, okay, he's sorry. That's why I was resisting. And I'm thinking about his mother. If his mother found out she felt me like he will hit me. Why? So that like I would feel, because also I was close with my mother-in-law, so I was like, maybe I'll just tell Mike that's it. Maybe it's over right. That's it, you know. But then we did that form. J88 bank treater, and then coming back, and I forgot to mention this, but that time my mom didn't know. My mother just gotten me a job at Edenvale, I remember, and then that time I'm supposed to go. I'm new in that, and those people, they know my mom, so I have to go to work on Monday, and I can't. The way being a con. So he even forced me. He said, no, you have to go to work, Pela. And he would buy me shades. He bought me shades. I remember I was on a Reavaya bus. He bought me goggles and then goggles. And then he said, okay, Papa, he was going to his work and then I'm going. And then I couldn't that day. I couldn't. I needed, I don't know, that day, it was my first time my mother saw. I needed my mom. I was like, hello, I phoned her, hello. How? Party? And I was like, where are you at? Someone said, come. Then I took the lift. I went to her office. Then she was like, what's wrong? Then I took off the glass. Because I was imagining myself, good, I won't go there. I'm 17, so I can't. Okay, Lana can maybe do something. But now this, the way people I am, I'm like, no, man. Then my mom said, what, Bumi? Yeah. This is it. I remember we spoke for, like, she cried. And then she phoned her boss. The boss came. Then we locked ourselves in the office. Then I started to explain my abusiveness. I never went back. I never went back that day. I think that time, coming back, I regret that day. I shouldn't have went back, but I went back.
Because the case is not broken. Because and the altar of that it's calling you. So when the altar is calling, there's no way that you can resist it with your own strength. You need the supernatural power, the power of the Almighty God to break that thing. I'm wondering how many people are in that cage. That the cage of abusive relationship,
and they still think they are okay.
No, I'm okay. It's not them. It's propelled by spirits. This thing,
they organized everything. Even my mom's boss said, "Let the truck go. You must leave." I said, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm done."
I was not saying Valentine, but. There you go, viewers, from us in this first episode. We're just gonna try and close it here. I know that we all need to digest whatever information that we have got to our sister Osisimpumi. Her journey has been a pain. Her journey has been something that I can't even draw if I was given a pen or a paper that I have to draw. But the most important thing Apostle has mentioned is that we can never conquer all these spirits minus us going back to Christ. So stay tuned, because we are going to have second part of this where she will go now deeper up until the separation with the husband. Don't forget to comment, to like, and subscribe. Apostle.
Shalom.
God bless.